Hey, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Zoning and Comprehensive Plan Amendment hearing for the Lee County Board of County Commissioners. It's October 7th. The time is 9:30 a.m. Let's begin this morning with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right. I'll ask our staff to introduce the first case.
Indeed. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Anthony Rodriguez, Principal Planner with the Zoning Section of the Department of Community Development. First case this morning is REZ 2019-00022, Downtowner Car Wash, Pine Island Road. This is a request to rezone approximately 8.86 acres from agricultural AG2 to general commercial CG. The hearing examiner recommended approval, no conditions since this is a conventional rezoning, and no participants of record. Staff is here to answer any questions you have.
Very good. All right, Commissioners, do you have any questions for our staff on this one? No. Okay, very good. Does the applicant wish to make a presentation today on the Downtowner Car Wash? We're here. Okay, any questions for the applicant?
I move the item.
No.
Recommendations.
Okay, a motion for approval from Commissioner Pendergrass. Do we have a second? Seconds from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have any discussion on this one? No? Are there any objections to the motion? No objections. That motion carries unanimously. Very good.
Thank you.
Next case this morning is DCI 2019-00014, the Lico Court Storage Facility. This is a request to rezone approximately 5 acres from agricultural AG2 to industrial plan development IPD to allow for the open storage of recreational vehicles, boats, and vehicles with a 1,815 square foot office and up to a 1,815 square foot caretaker's residence. Hearing examiner recommended approval with conditions and no participants of record on this case either. Staff is here to answer any questions.
Very good. Any questions for our staff on this one? Okay, seeing none, does the applicant wish to make a presentation today? Okay, very good. Any questions for the applicant?
I move the HEX recommendation.
Okay, so we have a motion for approval from Commissioner Pendergrass. Do we have a second? Second from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have any discussion, Commissioners, on that? Okay, seeing none, are there any objections? No objections. That motion carries unanimously. All right. And then let's move on to the next case, the Gulf Coast Town Center.
Yes, indeed. Next case this morning is DRI 2019-00002, it's Gulf Coast Town Center DRI. This is a request to amend the legal description NDRI Map H to remove approximately 40.5 acres that are now included in the Florida Gulf Coast University Master Plan, amend the approved development parameters to reduce approved retail commercial uses by 220,000 square feet, add 150 hotel motel rooms, and retain the 600 multiple family dwelling units previously approved, and also to codify previously approved extensions to the DRI development order. The hearing examiner did hear this case and recommended approval, and this hearing is open to the public.
Very good. Do we have any questions for our staff on this one? Okay, seeing none, does the applicant wish to make a presentation?
I'm here, but what you said is right.
Okay, very good. So no presentation from the applicant. Let's ask, this one is open to the public. Does anybody wish to speak in public comment on this item related to the Gulf Coast Town Center? Okay, seeing none, I'll close public comment. Commissioners, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion for approval from Commissioner Sandelli, and the second is from Commissioner Pendergrass. Any discussion on this item?
I just want to say this is Neil to the applicant. If you could let them know, thank you for continuing their improvements down at Gulf Coast Town Center. This is included in some of the improvements they're doing down there, renovations. So tell the applicant thank you for continuing the improvements. And
I'm sorry.
I was going to say thank you to the applicant for continuing the improvements in Gulf Coast Town Center. This is part of that. So tell them thank you for continuing that process.
Good deal. All right, very good. Any further discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, are there any objections? No objections. That motion carries unanimously. All right, and our next one is also Gulf Coast Town Center. This is the DCI case.
Correct. This is the companion rezone request, DCI 2019-00011, also Gulf Coast Town Center. This is a request to amend the existing Gulf Coast Town Center MPD, mixed-use plan development, to remove the 40.5 acres of land that's now included within Florida Gulf Coast University's master plan, relocate multiple family residential uses, increase the residential building height for multiple family residential uses, increase the number of stories as well on the multiple family residential uses, allow for zero lot line development and reduced building separations, and also increase the number of hotel rooms and reduce the amount of approved retail square footage as previously noted, as well as an amendment to the sign package. Hearing examiner recommended approval with conditions, and again, no participants of record on this case. Staff is here to answer any questions you have.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for our staff on this one?
Nope.
Okay, seeing none, does the applicant wish to make a presentation?
Would like to hear our long PowerPoint.
I'll take that as a no. All right, so we have no participants of record. Does somebody wish to make a motion on this item?
Move the HEC's recommendations.
Okay, motion for approval from Commissioner Pendergrass and a second from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have any discussion on this? No? Seeing no discussion, are there any objections? No objections, that motion carries unanimously. Yeah, congratulations. All right, we'll move on to the next, Mcgregor Davis.
Indeed. DCI 2019-00021, the Mcgregor Davis Minor Commercial Plan Development. This is a request to rezone approximately 4.3 acres from Community Commercial CC to Commercial Plan Development CPD to allow for up to 76,000 square feet of mini warehouse uses with a maximum building height of 35 feet. The hearing examiner recommended approval subject to conditions and deviations, and there were 4 participants of record on this case.
Very good. Okay. Any questions for our staff on that? All right, seeing none, does the applicant wish to make a presentation on this case? Okay, very good.
Good morning, Commissioners. Noel Davies, Land Use Attorney on behalf of the applicant. I just want to let you know that I am here with the full expert team today. If you do have any questions, we are not going to go through the full presentation unless there are questions, but we are here for those, and we would reserve the right to rebut any public comment if there is any.
Very good. Commissioners, while we've got the applicant up here, do you have any questions for him?
No, I'm very
Commissioner
familiar with this
Sandell?
type of product, so.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Chairman.
thank you. At this time, I'll go ahead and call the participants of record. With your testimony here, remember, it's got to be similar to what you gave at the hearing examiner, and the time is 5 minutes. There's a stoplight right at the top of the podium there. It's green, yellow, red. When the red light comes on, I'll ask you to stop, and I'll call the next speaker. Okay, Sophia Brubaker. Sophia Brubaker, are you here? Okay, well, how about Amanda Canada? Amanda Canada. Okay, how about Teresa Foley?
I'm not Teresa Foley, but I am representing her and Davis Woods.
Okay, are you an attorney? You're their attorney? All right, come forward. Mm-hmm. And looks like you're allowed to speak on behalf of Teresa Foley.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
And I'm Rob Caves with Becker and Polyakoff. And
Very good. You're started.
thank you. And we are here. The presentation that was provided to the hearing examiner raised the concerns of the adjoining property owner of stormwater drainage and flooding. Davis Woods and Teresa Foley as an owner in Davis Woods is a 100-unit condominium development that is immediately north to the property that is subject to development. And in the current condition, the association experiences flooding from significant rain events. They've experienced standing water on their common elements from normal rain events and had units flooded during Irma. The concern is that the development immediately south of them will result in further stormwater drainage issues. The association recognizes that the hearing examiner imposed conditions are recommended conditions, including that there would be a site evaluation to determine the potential impacts of the development on the stormwater drainage system. That is the county's maintenance responsibility for the area. And the association appreciates that. I think at this point, the concern is what the timeline for that evaluation will be. How will those results of that evaluation be considered? How will the evaluation be communicated to both the county and to the adjoining property owners? And how will the results of that evaluation affect the ultimate approval of the project? I think the reality of the situation is the association recognizes that some development will occur in the area, and opposing all development is pointless, but they do feel that any development that goes forward has to recognize the existing property owners' rights and interests and that development has to be done in such a way that it protects those property interests. So their real concern, fundamentally is the drainage issue, and recognizing the hearing examiner, acknowledged that in imposing the additional condition. I guess our concern here today and going forward is how that will be done, how it will be communicated to the membership and to the other property owners. So with that, I'll give it back to the commission. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for your comments this morning. And Dr. Steve Maxwell. Is Dr. Maxwell here? Okay, I don't see him. All right, so that concludes our participants of record. I'd like to give the applicant an opportunity to address the issues that were raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, Noel Davies for the record. With respect to Mr. Cage's comments, his client's testimony, as you know, was taken into consideration with the hearing examiner recommendation. There are a number of different safeguards and conditions in the recommendation of approval from the hearing examiner, including ones, as Mr. Cage mentioned, that help alleviate or further address the concerns of the neighbors to the north. I would respectfully disagree with statements that this is going to increase or exacerbate any sort of drainage situation at the property. Your staff, your hearing examiner, and the applicant are all in agreement that the drainage plan meets or exceeds your code requirements. Mr. Marshall with Banks Engineering is here today and was an expert at the hearing examiner hearing and rebutted with his testimony the statements made by Mr. Cage and made by his client at the hearing examiner hearing. So with that, we would respectfully disagree with his position and would request that you move forward with the recommendation from the hearing examiner. And of course, the team is here, as am I, if there are any remaining questions.
Very good. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant or their experts?
I do.
Yeah,
Do
Commissioner
you have
Pendergrass.
a response as far as a timeline? We all know that during the development of this, that water will be managed on that property and kept on that property that is based upon the services. But do you have a timeline where those evaluations come back?
So I know that Mr. Marshall can probably speak better to that, but I know he's going through the Water Management District permitting for the drainage as well. As we communicate with your staff, we're more than happy to keep the neighbors informed, including the folks at Davis Woods. In fact, our planner, Ms. Stacy Hewitt with Banks, has kept them informed since the very beginning. So before we filed an application, we've been in a consistent communication, and we're more than happy to, and in fact have committed to them previously to continue to keep them apprised as we go through the process, including with respect to the condition that Mr. Cage raised.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Michael, you may want to respond, because my next question also is about county, because obviously we have along the road there on Mcgregor and the side of this, so it's going to be working with the county DOT, stormwater too, but go ahead, Michael.
Correct. I was just going to say, as far as the timing goes, the condition provides that the evaluation has to occur prior to development order issuance. And what that will do is there will be no development if the evaluation is not done prior to getting the permits. So what you end up with is if the evaluation occurs and there shows some impacts, development order is going to have to be amended to address whatever impacts. And as you correctly indicated, Surface Water Management District is involved with the permitting of this portion, and they will have to address any off-site flows and the historic flows that would come on this property and be addressed through the Surface Water Management District permit.
Right, and being at least 4.3 acres, there will be water storage on the property too, correct?
Yes.
As it is in the neighbor's yard next door.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. All right. Thank you, sir, for your presentation this morning. Commissioners, does anybody wish to make a motion at this time?
I move the item based upon the HEC's recommendation.
Okay, so motion for approval from Commissioner Pendergrass. Do we have a second?
Sure.
Second from Commissioner Mann. Do we have any more discussion on this item? Okay, seeing no further discussion, are there any objections? No objections. That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. All right, and the final case is a comprehensive plan amendment for Inspiration at Southpointe.
Correct. So the final case this morning is a privately initiated map amendment, CPA 2020-00003, Inspiration at Southpointe. This is a transmittal hearing, and the request is to amend Lee Plan Map 1, page 6, to extend the mixed-use overlay over approximately 15 acres located on the north side of College Parkway, just west of Winkler Road. The LPA recommended that the board transmit this amendment as recommended by staff. That motion was passed 6-0, and there was no public comment provided at the LPA hearing, and staff is recommending that the board transmit the amendment as provided in attachment 1 to your packet. We are here to answer any questions for you.
Very good. Commissioners, any questions on this one?
LPA spoke.
I think y'all familiar with this property, right? This is where a lot of people protect their kids, feed goats at over the years, and buy
Yeah.
some good produce, so. It's,
Pretty cool property. Okay, so no questions for the staff then? Very good. Does the applicant wish to make a presentation? All right.
Who's the masked man this morning?
Chairman, members of the board, Bruce Strayhorn. We agree completely with staff. Johnson Engineering's here to do a 2-hour presentation if you like it. And Senator Mann, Jenna's just back from Tallahassee, so if you'd like to know what's going on in Tallahassee. With that, we'd encourage you to adopt the recommendation.
Very good. Any questions for the applicant at all? Okay, very good. Thank you. This one is open to the public. Is anybody here to speak in public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Does somebody wish to make a motion?
Move the item.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Pendergrass. Do we have a second? Second from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have any discussion, Commissioners? Okay, seeing no discussion, are there any objections? No objections. That motion carries unanimously, and that concludes our business today. We're adjourned.